Welcome to Grow to Amazing. This is Tony Mays. It's been a long time, and I'm kind of sitting here eating. I don't know if it's eating humble pie or what's going on, but had to take some time to reset things and get the podcast put back together again. Put some things in my heart back together again, and some things in my head too. And just wanted to update everybody where we're at. I mean, things in general are going really good. I mean, we are in a city called Rising Sun, Indiana right now. I don't know if those of you watching the video can see this, but we have an absolutely spectacular campsite that we're at for a couple weeks. And so we've been on this full-time journey now. We are starting month 4 of being full-time in a camper. And to say that we've had some adjustments with that, or that I personally, I mean, we've all had adjustments in the family to get used to this lifestyle and get used to what we're doing here. I think it's just I think in general, things have gone way better in a lot of ways than I could have ever expected. I mean, we've loved the travels that we've had, the sites that we've seen, being around and getting close to family and that kind of thing. I think I've just struggled myself. There's been some challenges with my job and my schedule there. I'm still working full time, which when there's sites to see and things to do, sucks. But you got to pay the bills at the same time, and we're not in a position financially where I can't work. So we're making the best of it. But adjusting to that, as well as just some of the things with 5 of us living in a camper, it has been tough, and probably tougher than I'm willing to admit, and tougher than I've admitted to most people. But it's really thrown my routine and my non-work stuff for a loop. For example, when we're done with the day and the kids are in bed, all I feel like doing right now is going to bed and sleeping the night away. And our morning routine hasn't been much to sneeze at either. Especially we've had an hour time change. We're in the Eastern time zone now. So exercises sucked. Evening time to get stuff done has sucked. And I don't have any excuses for that. I just haven't been getting it done. And so that's meant, with that lack of time that I've made available, and I've used other distractions like reading science fiction books again heavily as a distraction from all of that. The podcast has obviously been one of those things that suffered too. So this is my reset. This is my kick in the ass. And it's been a long time coming. I mean, Jill and I have been spending a lot of time talking about this, because she's faced her own struggles as well with her schedule and the same kinds of things there. But this is a reset. And I have spent time thinking about what I wanted to do with the podcast. I just haven't spent a lot of time recording it and arranging guests and doing things like that. So what I am actually planning on doing is accelerating with the podcast a little bit and changing it to be more of a twice a week podcast. So I want to have, I've heard some comments that the long form interviews are difficult for a lot of people to digest. And so I'm going to be trying to shorten that up a little bit and seeing what I can do to give you something that's more easily digestible and reachable. And so once a week, I'm going to be coming out basically a word of the week, where I kind of take a dive into a particular word. And it's probably more a reflection of my mental state, some of the words that I've got lined up of, I'm not going to give it away all here, but just some of the difficulties that I've dealt with and tough times that I've had recently. And tough times, I mean, I'm sitting here in a camper in the middle of 50 feet from the Ohio River, playground right next door to our camper. It's gorgeous out. Got a wife I love. I've got 3 kids. What the hell do I have to complain about? And the answer should be nothing. But that's not true. So I'm going to use this as personal therapy and try and dig my way through some of this, and hopefully it helps. Hopefully it helps you grow a little bit. Hopefully it helps me grow a lot. And hopefully it provides, a path forward to making myself better tomorrow than I am today. So the family in general is doing good. The boys are, I think Will struggles with the campground moves because he is such an extrovert and makes friends very easily. And when we leave those friends, or when they leave, that's tough on him. Michael's doing good. For the most part, he is not quite the extrovert that Will is. And Jackson is just happy being around Daddy. I think he is a daddy's boy. And Jill and I kind of went through some of ours. Marriage-wise, we're doing good. Overall, things are going pretty well there. We miss our date nights is probably the thing we miss the most. But, we kind of knew that going into this, that would be one of our struggles. So we're trying to carve out date time when we can, and make time for the 2 of us where we can, and just be talking more and engaged more. And that's where we get this time on the road during our drives when we can talk and share together. We get time when the boys are in bed when we can talk and share, and kind of take things one step at a time there as we get used to things. Like I said, we're here in Rising Sun, Indiana for 2 weeks, and we're going to be visiting Jill's family a little bit. We're going to go to the Creation Museum. We're going to go to the Ark Encounter, hopefully the Cincinnati Zoo, maybe. We'll see if we can fit that in. But overall, it's, we'll see how it goes. And then from there, we keep heading east and keep trying to make this vacation the best thing we can. So, I mean, some of the places I've been failing, like I said before, was my morning routine. I'm not, like this morning, we had grand intentions of getting up at 6 a.m. And when did we roll out of bed? About 5 to 8. So, I mean, it's time change is still, we haven't adjusted. We got to shock ourselves into that. Jackson crawled into bed with us at 6:30. But so I also had to spend some time thinking about where I wanted to take the podcast. And so like I said, it's going to be one episode's going to be kind of word of the week, current state in mind for me. And then one episode that's longer, it'll be like still an interview. I still want to have awesome guests on that can help to highlight some of their struggles and talk through some of their history and how they've overcome challenges and grown to amazing in their own lives, or a book review of something that's helped me out a lot. And I've got some of those things in thought as well. So, but I've also spent some time thinking about what is Grow to Amazing to me, and what are the areas of my life that I want to focus on. And it's kind of come down to 7 different areas. And I'm trying to rank. I don't know if I've got a rank on these, or it's areas on the clock or the pendulum, or just different parts of things like that. But for me, it's going to come down to talking about areas such as faith, whatever your faith may be, and how do you grow it, strengthen it, deal with adversity within the context of your faith, and things like that. My family, how do I lead my family? How can anyone lead their family or participate in the leadership of their family? How can they love their families better? Sorry, I'm looking at notes and not having a lot of success reading out in the sun. Sunshine is a little bit bright today here in Indiana. So, but how do you build love within your family? How do you build a stronger and better family group? And there's so many distractions and calls for our kids' attention these days. How do we show them what it's like to be a strong and resilient person in today's world, as well as be engaged and be a part of the family group and grow their own good families? So personal development and growth, I think we've hit a lot of that on the podcast so far and talked through a lot of those different areas, but I've got a long ways to go on all of these. So, but it's taking pieces and parts out of the different focuses that I've got in my world, of authors I follow, podcasts I listen to, and different. Sorry, distracted by Jackson going for his bike and getting it out. So I'll have to put a video up of this kid riding his bike or pushing it, as the case may be. So, but growing personally and being stronger mentally, physically, emotionally, being there for my family and being engaged, that kind of thing. My marriage, so how can I fill up my wife's love tank? How can I connect with her better? How can I communicate with her better? How can I love her better and be more complete and stronger and a more complete part of this marriage that we have going on? How can I demonstrate to my kids? I mean, I don't visibly go out trying to do something just because my kids are going to see it, but that's always in the back of my mind, is that I've got 4 boys and they need to see what a true loving marriage looks like so that they can understand what it takes to do it themselves when they grow up. Functional. So, and I had a tough time naming this one because there's a lot of different things that fit under the umbrella, but finances, fiscal management, business acumen, being an entrepreneur, how do you start a new business? And a lot of these things I have no answer to right now, or I've sucked at various times in my history. But I'm slowly getting my act together. I'm slowly working towards building intelligence in that area and smarts in that area and just succeeding in that area. And even at 51, I'm not going to be denied when I go to reach those goals. So, and it's how do you build a business on the road? I might have some people on, hopefully, that can talk about that and help out there. Fitness. I think I've treaded too long on the fact that I've done 2 Ironmans, that I've done a dozen other triathlon races that I've run, and other things like that, and need to decide what my new standard is going to be. All that stuff is too far in the past. I've let myself get out of shape, and so I need to work on consistency and building that functional fitness so I can keep up with my kids. Like I said, I'm 51 and I got kids that are 8, 6, and almost 2. Not to mention Adam, that's heading off to boot camp today for the Army. And I am extremely proud of him, by the way. But that kind of fitness, to be able to keep up with those kids and just live my best life. You can't do it when you're overweight and uncomfortable and just not able to keep up with your kids. If you got to sit down every 30 seconds, is that really fun? Or every 5 minutes because you're either tired or out of breath, or at the end of the day, you're falling into bed like a cut tree because you're so exhausted. Now, hopefully that's the good exhausted, where your body is recovering and you're getting up the next morning and you're feeling good to go. But a lot of times it's, I barely made it through the day, half-assed, and didn't make it my best day. So I got to change that too, and that starts with fitness also. So, and then interpersonal, building friends, bringing out my pocket extrovert when I need to meet friends on this camping journey has been tough, but it is absolutely a good thing for me. Visiting family, but building those relationships with other people at a deeper level. Maybe that's being a mentor or finding a mentor. I've got some friends in my life that I'm going to depend on for help and advice and things like that as this journey goes on. But I just want to meet and grow and meet new people and grow and get to know more people and build a network that I can lean on when times are tough, or that people will come to me when times are tough and I can be asked to mentor them. And I've had a few small occasions like that in the past, but I don't know that I've put myself in a position where I'd necessarily be the best mentor either. So facing the reality of that is kind of the a kick in the teeth also sometimes. So again, 7 areas: family, faith, personal development and growth, marriage, functional or family or personal functional, fitness, and interpersonal. And I might change this as time goes on. I'm trying to build up like a graphic of what this might look like, but that's where we're going to go and that's what we're going to explore. So we're continuing our journey across this country. I may also be changing the Facebook page to be more of a group so we can start to build it into more of a community there and start to add people to that, get like a mailing list going, things like that. That is all in the works. So stay tuned for that coming up in the very near future. Hopefully we'll have more news to share on that shortly, but I want to make this something that's a reality check for me and a reality check for you, but in a good way, not something that's kicking you in the teeth. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but maybe it's something good that really touches you and helps you out. So I don't know. I think that's about it for now. I'm going to keep this one short and sweet. I may have another episode later this week of my first word of the week, and we'll go into it in more depth of what that is going to mean then also. But anyway, so I can see my kids running around, I can see my wife around, and life is not as bad as I make it seem sometimes. So I need to appreciate that and love life and reach for the heights in all the areas that are out there. So for Grow to Amazing, this is Tony, and I will talk to you soon.